round. This is going to be race 4. Race 3, there was an issue with an oar. Canford School broke an oar, so their race has been shifted back to 12:25. Race 3 now 12:25. If you're just joining us to watch Canford School against Latimer Upper, 12:25, a rearranged time for that. Here's race 4, and we're into the Wyfold Sydney Rowing Club from Australia against the City of Oxford Rowing Club. So a local crew against an Australian crew. Lots of international crews here this week. 18 countries represented. And these are the first big guns from overseas. Sydney Rowing Club on the Berkshire station. City of Oxford on the Buck station.
City of Oxford. When I see that you're both great and ready, I will start you like this. Attention, go. Get ready, please.
Stars are just holding these two boats.
Go!
And we're underway in the Wyfold Sydney Rowing Club up against the City of Oxford in the fours, and they're giving it a really good go right from the off at Temple Island. City of Oxford just need to be a little bit careful with their steering because they're heading for yes, and now they veer back in left, having headed out right and a little bit close to the boys aligning Temple Island there early on, but they've sorted themselves out. A little bit of an early concern there for City of Oxford. It's Sydney who have taken an early lead.
Yeah, that's always a kind of scary part at the start, because that's what makes Henley even more unique. As you're on a river, the bank kind of goes away from you and comes back at you, and your kind of vision or your peripherals kind of pushes you away or draws you towards it. And off the start, you're in the buoys, and then you go into the booms, and then once you get inside the booms, then you can breathe a sigh of relief, and you can really start concentrating and focusing on your rowing.
They will have breathed that sigh of relief because they are now inside the booms. They're safely aligned. But for the City of Oxford, everything to do early on in this Wyfold first round race. Already Sydney have surged 2 lengths clear, and they will not have travelled all the way around the world for a first round exit.
No, and that's what makes this event so special. It's a genuine club event for these. These are all club athletes. As you said, they come from all over the world to compete at Henley Regatta, and that's the unique thing about Henley. We have different classes. We have junior events, club events, university events, and obviously open and international events.
Now this Sydney Rowing Club for the bow seat Dylan Boakes, 2 Piers Harsgaard, 3 is Charlie Patterson, and the stroke is Lachlan Hine. They're the boat you can see on the right of your picture on the Berkshire station. Wind's just getting up a fraction. I see those flags fluttering a little bit more vigorously than earlier on.
Yeah, and if that's a slight headwind, that just makes the racing a little bit longer. You know, as you mentioned, the course is 2,112 metres, which is longer than a normal kind of international racing course. So having that extra wind just makes the racing a little bit longer. And, you know, that's when that training really comes into benefit, you know, making sure you've done those hard hours in the gym and on the water leading into the regatta.
Talking of the hard hours, hot work for the jogger in the riverbank. So, good work from Sydney so far. Semi-finalists in the Britannia Challenge Cup last year here at Henley Royal Regatta. Winners of the Forley Challenge back in 2011 and the Wyfold in 2009. Very experienced rowers from Sydney. Charlie Patterson, I mentioned at 3, competed in the Prince of Wales last year. Lachlan Hine in the bow seat of the winning Forley crew that I mentioned in 2011. And that must help with confidence and a general feel of knowing what Henley Royal Regatta is all about. If you've got experience, you've got form here in previous years, that can only help.
Yeah, and understanding that uniqueness of Henley, that's what's so special about it, is when you come here, it is that gladiatorial racing, one-on-one, and understanding how the intensity of that racing is really important, and it's about having that experience and really using that to your benefit when you come back. And you know, athletes will try and progress maybe, you know, another day each year, and I'm sure City of Oxford will want to progress as they did last year when they made it to Thursday of this particular event last year.
Will the crews be pleased to have been drawn this early on in the day, so they missed the hottest part of the day, obviously being just after 9 o'clock in the morning UK time? Or will they be sorry to have missed the big crowds? There'll be tens of thousands of spectators down there after lunch.
No, the athletes, you know, would prefer to race in cooler conditions. You love the atmosphere, as you know, that is what's so special about Henley. But they'll be thinking about their race plan, getting down the course as quickly as they can, progressing to the following day. And if they're racing in the morning today, and then they get later race in the afternoon, that's more rest time, more recovery time. So I would see that as a plus as an athlete. Racing in the morning, it's a little bit cooler and able to conserve energy and not be in the sun for too long.
Good news for the ice cream sellers who are here in number throughout the next 5 days. So on the water, Sydney making good progress in this first round race for them in the Wyfold up against City of Oxford. Not too far for them to head home, which it appears is what they'll be doing after round one later on today. Huge margin as they head into the business end of the meeting here, business end of the race.
And what's unique about these coxswains for us as well is that they don't have a coxswain, as you can see. You know, one person in the crew will have a foot plate which has a wire attached to it with a rudder, and they'll be steering this course with their foot. So it makes it more challenging for one of the other athletes or one of the athletes in the crew to kind of make sure they're steering correctly down the course and keeping a good line. And when you're in front of this kind of stage, you know, as an athlete, you'd probably move across and just give the other crew a little bit of dirty water.
Yes, just turn it up as much as possible. That's what Sydney will be thinking at this stage, which is permitted, isn't it? Once you get a clear lead, you are allowed to veer slightly more central between the booths.
Yeah, that's just being tactical as an athlete and switched on to where you are. And if you have that clearance, you know, you want to make sure you have plenty of water either side and relax, take away that stress of the booms to your right or left, depending on what side you're on, and just kind of enjoy the rowing. And this is a really nice thing to be able to row it down the Struis enclosure, just enjoying that view, because I'm sure when the races get a bit more furious as the week goes on, they won't have this luxury.
Well, last year, City of Oxford Rowing Club were knocked out on the Thursday, knocked out of the Wyfold and the Britannia Challenge Cup. Looks like there will be an exit on Wednesday morning for them this time round. This year, Oxford 5th in the repechage of the intermediate Cox's Fours at a Metropolitan Regatta. But with only 100 metres or so remaining here at Henley Royal Regatta, you can see the pain written all over their faces, can't you? With that defeat looming.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting for the other British crews that have raced City of Oxford at certain events, and now they've seen the Sydney Rowing Club, which they probably wouldn't have seen on the kind of domestic stage, and it would just give other crews an idea of how fast this crew is. Up to probably the first marker, they'll have some idea of what to expect when they race this crew in the next round.
Sydney Rowing Club then, making it look easy in the Wyfold, race 4 on our programme. Last few strokes. In front of the grandstands. A big win for Sydney Rowing Club up against Oxford Rowing Club there, making it look easy.